Hello. Going to do about 40 minutes in this session. Going to work on the hips, try to get the hips moving, all the planes of movement. So let's get straight to it. So sitting in a comfortable position. You don't have to sit in a cross-leg position. You can have your knees in straight in front of you if it's more comfortable. It's just going to take a moment just to get grounded, get our heads into the practice. So wherever it is comfortable for you, try to lift up through the spine, try to tuck the chin in slightly, breathing into the lungs as deeply as you can. And when you get to that end of that inhale, hold there, open your mouth and breathe out. As you breathe out, soften through the body, release any tightness, anything that's hanging tight, latching on. And one more breath in here, nice big breath, big tidal breath, filling up the lungs as much as you can, holding at the top. Opening the mouth and releasing. And then into normal, natural breath. But try to feel your body, how you feel at the start of this practice. How do the hips feel? Have you got any tightness? Is there anything contracting, anything latched on that you're not obviously aware of? Where does the breath go when you breathe? Is it into the top of the lungs, or is it into the belly, or a bit of both? How are the shoulders? Can you afford to soften your shoulders? Are you clenching in the knees? Are you clenching in the pelvic basin area? Okay, is your jaw tight? Can you release your jaw? Okay, it's just really identifying if you're carrying any stress, any tension before the class that you can actively soften and let go. And more often than not, the tension we carry in our bodies are associated with the thoughts, some of the issues that are rumbling away in the back of the head or in the mind. So what is going on in your mind? Just take a moment here just to find out what's front and center of your thoughts. Recognize what that is, because that might come and distract you during the class. So you be aware of it. And if you do start to wander off through the class, recognize that distraction, that attachment that your mind has to something, and then bring your mind back into how you feel in your body. Where's the tension? Is a good one to start with. How do my feet feel, or parts of my body grounded on the mat? And where's my breath at the moment? So trying to bring yourself back into the practice. Okay. We're going to start straight away into some movement. So we're going to start moving the head gently from side to side, just finding that movement, how that feels for us. Anything tight, anything sensitive that we need to be aware of. Be compassionate with your body throughout the class. So first of all, identify where any constraints are. And it changes from day to day, depending upon the things we do, the activities we do, how well or badly we sleep. And then when you've done that a few times, then lift the head up and then tuck the chin in down. Again, feel that movement. How does that feel? Particularly when you lift the head up, find that nice squeeze of your thyroid, parathyroid, larynx. Keeping the movements nice and smooth. And then circling the head, just checking in. Any crackling, any crepitude, perfectly normal, providing it doesn't hurt. And then finding, again, how you feel all the way around your cervical spine and the base of your skull. Okay, and then taking the arms out nice and wide, bend the elbows, bring the fingertips onto the shoulders, and we do some circles with the elbows. See the quality of those circles. Just imagine your scapula in the back, rising up and down, floating up and down on the ribs, sandwiched between really deep back muscles that are moving the scapula. It's a floating joint, if you like, your shoulders. And then go the other way. See the quality of circles this way. What's the control like with your trapezius, your lats, your rhomboids, your rotator cuffs? All of those intricate muscles working together. It's not too long before you get a little bit of stiffness set in. So we're not used to this. Generally, we hold our shoulders in a crouched position. So getting some of this external rotation in the shoulders is quite unusual, but it's really good for us. Okay, loosen off the arms. Side bend, so take the right hand down to the side and lift the left hand up to stretch out, opening up the ribs here. Breathing into that left lung. And a side bend to the other side. Gently moving the body a little bit further each time. And then a gentle twist to one side, finding some compression, pulling your tummy button in, turning the shoulders, and a twist to the other side. So the fingertips down the floor in front of you, walk the fingertips, keeping the chin quite high and the chest quite high, coming to a gentle forward bend here. Already the hips now starting to work. Find that little bit of compression in the hip sockets as you come forward. Feel how that tension feels for you. And breathe into that space. See if you can soften it after a couple of breaths. If it's really, really tight, go as far as you can. Don't force it. Everything is good. And walk backwards with the hands. Take the hands behind you. Gently push into the mat with the arms as you lift the pelvis forwards. A little bit of a counter pose. And come back down. Hands on your knees. Slowly start circling around through the torso here. Coming out of the base of the spine and getting bigger and bigger. And then going the other way. Already starting to feel a bit looser now. Body's starting to open up. Muscles are starting to work, start to get a little bit of warmth in them. Connective tissue starting to let go a bit. We're not quite all floppy yet, but we're getting there. Okay, coming down onto your fronts. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Knees are hip width apart. Breathing into belly as you drop the tummy down. Lift the head just fractionally to look forwards and then point the bum up. And as you breathe out, drop the head between the shoulders, round through the spine here, tuck the tailbone under, pulling your belly up into the spine. And a few of these with your breath, just exploring that movement, how you feel in your spine. Getting that really nice synchronization of breath to movement. Okay, and then come back to a neutral position. Straighten out that right leg, rotate the right heel down, get a little bit of stability here. And then turn the shoulders to the right, take the right hand up, palm faces towards your head and bring that straight arm forwards to find a side stretch here. Breathing into that right lung, breathing into those right ribs. And release. Okay, do the same on the other side. So come back into tabletop. This time straighten out the left leg, rotate that left heel down, finding some stability here. Turn the shoulders to the left, take the left hand up, take the palm towards the head and bring that left arm forwards, finding that stretch through the body, breathing into the left side of the rib cage. As you breathe in, maybe you go a little bit longer in this posture. Come back down. Okay, take the right leg out to the side, plant the foot down, toes in front of the heels, tuck the left toes in, walk the hands forwards, and then slowly sit the hips backwards onto that left heel, and then come back forwards again. Gliding dynamic movement. Exhaling, sitting back, inhaling, coming forwards. Third time, exhale, come back and hold into a static posture here, softening anything in this right knee, right thigh. So trying to find some tension on the adductors on the inside of this right thigh as you hold this position. Breathing nice and slowly. And then release, come back to tabletop, do the same on the other side. So straightening out through that left leg to the side, plant the foot down, and then walk the hands forwards, tuck the right toes in. Exhale, sit the hips back. Inhale, come forwards. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, forwards. Exhale, sit back and hold. Glide and stretch. Already loosened off some of the stickiness of the tissues, of the connective tissues. And hold and release any contractions around that knee, around the hip. Good, come forwards. Let's take the weight off the knees. Tuck the toes in, knees are hip width apart. Walk the hands just slightly further forwards. Lift the knees up, lift the hips up, and then take the hips, sit bones backwards as you push down into the heels. Okay, start to pedal the legs here in downward dog to loosen off again the stickiness in the backs of the legs. As you find that stickiness, that tension easing, push both heels down, soft in the neck, looking back at your navel. Breathing nice and slowly. If you find your heels are on the mat, then maybe walk the feet a little bit further forwards if that works, or lift the toes up. Try to get tension in the calves. Okay, when you're ready, inhale up through into plank. Leveling out the body. Shoulders on wrists. Engaging the core here. A couple of breaths. If this is too much, you're more than welcome to drop onto your knees. Which we're going to do now. Drop onto your knees, lower your chest and chin down. Tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale, lift the chest up into cobra, gentle pressure into the mat, but lift through the crown of the head, look forwards, try to get some length through the upper spine. And exhale, come down. Inhale up into tabletop, tucking the toes in, we're going to lift into downward dog on an exhale. Establishing dog. Now we're going to do some dynamic movements from downward dog into upward dog on the toes. So be conscious of your tummy button and pull your tummy button into your navel as much as you can to support your lumbar spine. On an inhale, bring the hips forwards into plank and then allow the hips to drop down, keeping that core engagement. Lift up through the crown of the head, taking the shoulders away from the ears into an upward dog here on the toes. And then on an exhale, lift the hips up all the way back into downward dog. Inhale again, coming forwards. Remember about that core engagement, supporting the lumbar spine, not hinging in the lower back, lifting up through the crown of the head. Length again through the upper back. And exhale, come all the way back. And one more. Inhaling. Coming all the way forwards, lifting up through the crown of the head to go a little bit lower with the hips this time, keeping that core contraction engagement. Exhale, come up into dog. Okay. Then drop down onto the right knee. Step the left foot forward between the hands. Tuck the right toes into the mat. Lift the right knee up into a runner's lunge. Okay. With your knee on top of your ankle, your left knee on top of your ankle. With an inhale, turn the shoulders to the left, take the left hand up. Keeping the hips nice and stable here. Float that hand down, push into the mat with the left hand, turn the shoulders to the right, take the right hand up. On the inhale. On the exhale, drop that hand down. One more to the left. Inhale up, hips nice and stable. Exhale down. One more to the other side. And down. Drop onto the right knee. Top of the right foot on the mat or tuck the toes in. Inhale, come to an upright position, pulling your tummy button in. Inhale, go for height here with the arms, but not shrugging the shoulders. Try to keep the shoulder blades coming down the back. Exhale, lean forwards into this lunge. So bending that left knee, stretching out through the front of the right hip. Hold and breathe. Exhale, float the hands down. Hands come down to the mat. Lift the right knee up. Step back into a plank here. Establishing plank. Drop onto your knees, chest, chin. Tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale the chest forwards and up, lifting up through the crown of the head. Into cobra. Maybe the pelvis comes off the mat. Exhale down. Inhale to tabletop. And then a couple of cat-cows here as you loosen off the spine. Stepping the right foot forward between the hands. Tuck the left toes in, lift the left knee up. Okay, getting your right knee on top of your right ankle. When you're ready, inhaling, turning the shoulders to the right, keeping the hips nice and stable. Inhale that right hand up. Exhale it down. Keeping the hips steady. Inhale the left hand up as the shoulders turn to the left. A little bit more tricky this side. Exhale down. Keeping the hips nice and stable. Inhale to the right. and up and down. And one more to the left. And down. Dropping the left knee down onto the mat. Top of the foot on the mat or tuck the toes in. Inhale, come to an upright position, pulling your core in. Inhale the hands up, going for height. Keeping that core engagement. On an exhale, lean into this lunge. Stretching out the front of the left hip. And float the hands down. Tuck the left toes in, lift the left knee up, step back into a downward dog. Pedal out the legs here. And then come up onto your toes. Send the heels down. Inhale the left leg nice and high. Bend the knee. Take the knee out to the side, rotating the hip. Okay, keeping even pressure through both hands and pushing into the right heel. Getting that hip nice and open. Hold and breathe. Bring that left foot in line. Drop the left foot down. Pedal out the legs. And then push both heels down. Inhale the right leg nice and high. Bending the knee. Taking that knee out to the side. Find that hip opening. Pushing back into the left heel. Not compromising the foundation. Breathing nice and slowly. Going for the limit of your range of movement in this posture. Really working that hip. Bring the leg in line, come all the way down. Look up between the hands, come all the way forwards into plank. Knees down to the mat. Exhale, chest and chin down. Tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale through and up into cobra. Exhale down. Inhale into tabletop. Tucking the toes in. Exhale into dog. Bend the knees, look up between the hands, start walking to the top of the mat. Come to a Bentley forward bend here. Feet are hip width apart. Grab hold of opposite elbows with opposite hands and ragdoll here on bent knees. Taking your chest further down towards your thighs. Stretching out through the upper back. Dropping the hands down the side of the body, tucking the chin in and rolling up to a standing position. And then when you're upright, roll the shoulders back. Inhale the hands up. And down on the exhale. Bring the hands to your heart center. Inhale the hands out nice and wide, pushing the chest forwards. And exhale, come down. Inhale up. And down. Okay, staying where you are. Inhale, hands up nice and wide. Float the left knee off of the mat. Holding here in this balanced posture, just checking where you are. And then exhale the leg down, the arms come down. Transition to an inhale with the hands come up, the right leg comes up. Checking the balance here. And come back down. Okay, from where you are, bring your hands to your heart center. Slowly come down forwards, lift the left leg off of the mat, come into a standing right leg balance here with your hands on your heart center. Find that point of balance and breathe and hold. And come all the way back. Inhale the hands up. Exhale the hands down. Bring your hands to your heart center. Start to lean forwards. And then when you've got the balance here, take that right leg back. Find the stability in that standing left leg. Only going to the point where you can hold the balance. Breathe in nice and slowly. If it doesn't work out, come slowly back into the posture. It's still good. It doesn't mean anything if you can't hold the balance. What it means is you get another opportunity to have a go, which is developing your body, developing your mind connection. And come all the way back. Inhale the hands up. and down. Okay. And this time, inhale up, soften in the knees, slowly float the hands down to a Bentley forward bend. Hands come on your shins. Inhale, lift up into half forward bend, length through the spine here. Then exhale, keeping the legs straight. Come to a straight leg forward bend. Lifting the sit bones up. If this is tough on your lower back, bend the knees. Lift your sit bones up, driving the knees backwards, trying to get some tension in the back of the hamstrings. Leaning onto the balls of the toes. Take the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, and push the palms away. Hold this forward bend. Breathe in nice and slowly. And release, bend the knees. Step the left leg to the back of the mat and rotate that left heel down. Okay, going to bend this right knee. I'm going to windmill that left arm and arc it all the way up and above and around and behind. Bring the right arm up. Arms are shoulder height, palms facing down. Look over the middle finger of your right hand. Just look back to where your left arm is to make sure it's where you think it is. And then turn and look over the middle finger of the right hand. Warrior two. Your right knee is pointing to your right pinky. A little bit of tension in the groin here. Rounding through the outer edge of that left foot. Hold and breathe. Okay, bend in this right elbow, right forearm onto the thigh. Take the left palm to face up and bring it all the way up and across into a side stretch here. Turn and look up at that left hand. And over a few breaths, you can go deeper here by bending that right knee, dropping the hips a little bit further. Keeping the pressure going into the outer edge of that left foot though. And then come all the way back to warrior. And then windmill the hands down on the inside of that right foot. Come all the way down. I'm going to come into a side lunge. So using your hands as support here, turn your legs so that your right knee is starting to bend. Turn your left leg so it's nice and straight and on the heel. Find that really nice stretch in the adductors here, supporting with your hands, okay? Providing your knee is in line with your toes. And if you've got the stability, maybe come up for a balance. You don't have to. It's still good to work off of the balance or the support with the hands. What we're trying to do is get really quite low to get that stretch here. Release anything contracting. Feel the sensations in your body. Process them. Breathe nicely into that space. And as you slow the breath down, maybe you go a little bit deeper, but only going to the range of movement you've got, not going into the red. And then going to come up, pushing to the back with the hands. Going to work our way all the way to the other side. Nice and slowly to establish the posture. Looking for tension in this adductor hamstring combination here. Okay, using your hands here as support. If you want to try your balance, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. But make sure you don't compromise the stretch. Loosening off those hamstrings. Loosen off those adductors. And then push into the mat with hands. We're going to turn all the way around to our left. Okay. So left knee is bent. Turn that right heel down. I'm going to come up to warrior two. So slowly windmill and arcing that right arm all the way up and back, floating the hands down. Okay, establishing this posture again. Just turn and look to see where your right hand is, then turn and look over the left hand. Left knee pointing to left pinky, rounding through the outer edge of that right foot. Already the hips are in rotation here. So this is really working our hips, okay? Torso's coming straight up out of the body. Soften the shoulders. Feel the sensation. Bending that left elbow, left forearm. Take the right hand all the way up and over. Then turning and looking up. at that right hand, if you've got the balance. Maybe dropping into this posture a little bit deeper, finding that tension, thinking about alignment, grounding, breath. Okay, going to come back to warrior two. Look over middle finger of the left hand. Start to straighten both legs out. Point the toes out 45 degrees. Inhale the hands up. Bring the hands, palms together above you. Slowly exhale as you come down into a wide-legged squat. Now the hips are really working. You can feel that opening, that compression. So we'll pulse here. A few moments. And then release, come all the way up. And then lower your hands onto your hips. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Bring your feet a little bit closer apart, maybe just slightly wider than a mat width apart. I'm going to come down into Molasses squat pose, okay? Let's make this a bit more comfortable for me. Hands to your heart center. Gently drop down into the hips. Now, anytime this is too much on your knees, then back off. But you might need to keep moving your feet around to find a position where you can really compress into the hips and find your Molasses. Try to soften through the hip sockets. Breathing into the belly. Okay, going to come out of this, but what we're going to do is take our hands behind us and lower down onto our bums and then down all the way onto our lumbar spine. Shooting our feet up in the air, reaching up between the legs with our hands, grab hold of the inner arches or the ankles, soften your hips as you pull the knees down the side of the body. Okay, compressing the hips now. And just gently tugging down alternately on each leg, pulling each hip socket into compression. Okay, and then bring your legs together, grabbing hold of the backs of your hammies and roll up to seated. Coming all the way forwards into tabletop. Okay, stepping the left foot to the left side of the left hand and then tucking the right toes in, inching that right foot backwards. Okay, taking that left foot a little bit further away from the hand and then walking the hands a little bit further forwards. Going to look for compression on this left hip. It's like a pinching feeling on the inside. So it's going to be different for everybody here. Some people are going to get onto their forearms. Some people are going to be quite high up. So wherever it is for you to find that pinch, hold there. When you get that sense of compression, actively soften through your glute, your hips, your pelvic floor. Just actively soften here. Use the skeletal framework to support the body. So you can soften all the muscles and breathe slowly into those points of tension, compression, and feel how that feels. Feel that sensation. It's very rare we push our hips into these quite extreme, but actually quite normal range of movements. And just think what's going on in that hip socket. All of that nice, soft, synovial, lubricating fluid is being pushed all the way around the hip. So where it might have been stuck for a moment in time, a long time maybe, it's now being squeezed out of those tiny little crevices and you're getting really good, nourishing hips, healthy hips. Okay, we're going to come out of that. So heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, bring that foot in, inch that right leg forwards, come back into a tabletop. What we're going to do is come into a downward dog, just to stretch out here, pedaling out the legs. Some movement into the hips. and then drop down onto our knees. Okay, do the same on the other side. So from tabletop, stepping that right foot to the right side of the right hand, tucking the left toes in, inching that left leg back a bit, creating a little bit of space in the body, and then heel toe, that right foot out, sensing when that compression comes in, walking the hands forwards if it's not there yet, but going to that point where you do find that compression, and hold and breathe. And again, try to soften all the muscles that latch on. The nervous system will fire all sorts of muscles up just to think it's protecting the body, which it is naturally. It's reactive, it's a instinctive reaction. But with a breath, we can control our nervous system. We can soften those contractions. And when the muscles release, it allows us to go a little bit deeper, and it allows the connective tissue, the fascia, to be stretched a little bit further. Because over time, it's tightened up. It's tightened up all around those muscle groups, those hips, just really squeezing, restricting our range of movement. So we're taking control. We're taking that back. We're stretching that connective tissue. We're getting happy hips. I'm not saying you're going to end up on Strictly Come Dancing because you'd have such loose hips, but well, you might. But your hips will be happy. Okay, coming out of that. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. And then inch that left leg forwards. Okay, and then come into tabletop. So with all of this nice hip mobility, it would be a shame not to do a wide leg forward bend. So come into a seated position, take your legs out nice and wide till you feel a gentle amount of tension here. Flex the ankles, toes point up, roll onto the front of the sit bones. So nice and flat in the lower back. Okay, take the hands in front of you. Already you start to feel a tension in your adductors and your hamstrings. That's okay. We work with that tension with our breath. We don't go too far, but yet we do go enough so that we're really starting to work into that tension with our breath. And again, stretch, release, lengthen that tight web of connective tissue. Using that very slow sigh in the throat as you constrict the throat to soften those areas that need to be released. Slowly come out. So grab your backs of your knees, lift your knees up. Join the soles of your feet together. Take your legs a little bit further forward into a diamond. Roll forwards on the pelvis, on the front of the sit bones. Take the hands forwards into cobbler pose. Maybe gently push into the knees with the elbows to the point of tension. That's all we're doing. Different for everybody. And then release. Okay, nearly there. Coming on our backs. So bend the right knee, plant the right foot on the mat, rest the left ankle on top of the right knee. Okay, you can have your head and shoulders off the mat, or you can rest them down. Lift the right knee up, grab hold of the back of the right knee or the shin, and gently pull that right knee towards you, looking for tension or tightness in the left glute here. Okay, you can straighten this right leg out to give you a bit more leverage. If you want to go deeper with this, take both arms through, I'll show you, come round, through under the leg, bend the elbows, drop the right foot down, and use your wrists, your forearms to pull that leg towards you to the point where you feel tension, and hold and breathe. Okay, externally rotating the hip now, recline pigeon if you like. Giving the good old external rotators a nice stretch. And release. Take that foot down. And go again on the other side. So right left leg lifts up, right ankle on top of left knee, and then float that left knee up. A few choices here. Grab hold of the hamstrings or the shin, and then straighten the leg out if you want. If that's not touching the sides for you, drop that foot down and get the forearms under there. But whatever you can do to get some tension in that glute, that right glute, go with that. 4 to 5 breaths. And it's so important to have mobile hips, because that's why we get so many knee problems. If the hips are tight, the fuse in the chain is the knee. If the hips don't give, it's the knee that's in line. Whatever support, whatever activity you do. Okay, so it's important to get these hips back to our normal range of movement. This is why we do this. Stretching that fascia, and it takes tension away, because we carry so much tension in our pelvic bowl. So to stretch the hips around, it's doing us real good stuff. Okay, from here now then, taking the legs out nice and long. Bend the left knee and then gently press the knee, the inside of the left ankle into the right knee. Rest your head and shoulders down. Grab hold of your right hand, that left knee, and pull it over to the right, keeping your left arm out to the side. Going for a twist here. Keep looking up above you. Find that point of tension. Hold the twist. Look up. Breathe nice and slowly, maybe pulling your belly button in. Breathing into the tops of the lungs. And come all the way back. Okay, go again on the other side. So straighten out that, extend that left leg. Bring the right foot to the inside of that left knee. Take the right hand out to the side, reach down. Use that left arm to rotate through the hips here to come into a supine twist. Looking up at the ceiling and breathing nice and slowly. Releasing tension where you can, going a little bit deeper, applying the pressure. And release, come back up. Bring your knees into your chest. Massage your knees. Pull your lower back by pulling your knees in and releasing. So these hip postures, just a small sample of some of the ones that I teach in my classes. Got some really good ones. These would be almost like a warm-up for some of the more intense ones. They do make you feel really good. Anyway, so we're done here. So from here, we're going to drop the feet down, join the soles of the feet together, let the knees flop to the side, and feel that release inside of your hips now. Your groin, softening all the tissue around your pelvic floor, your groin, stopping any clenching of the anus, and really soft in the lower body. Rest your hands on your belly and allow the breath to occur naturally. Feeling that sense of release. You can stay here for relaxation, or you can straighten your legs out into a Shavasana posture by taking your legs to the bottom corners of the mat. Rest the heels down, let the feet flop to the side. Taking the hands away from the mat, back to the hands on the mat. Tucking the chin in slightly, closing the eyes, breathing in and out through the nose, and go through a period, a sequence of release in the body. You can stay as long as you want in Shavasana, feeling the sensations in your body, following the breath with your mind, recognizing when the mind is distracted and guiding it back to your breath. And I will leave you to Shavasana while I close this video down. Thank you so much for having a go. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, give me a like. That'd be really appreciated. And I'll be putting some more vids out there for different parts of the body. Lots of hips though, because hips, shoulders, That's where we need to loosen up. Have a great Christmas. Hope to see you in some of my public classes in the new year. I'm still going to be doing the Zoom stuff, the morning stuff, so you're more than welcome to join. Just keep a check on the website and on my Facebook page. Yeah, stay safe, take care, and keep moving. Bye-bye.